Sacramento Kings have, for the most part, over almost two entire decades, have been a constant symbol for failure in the NBA, to be blunt. But a few years ago, after the acquisition of De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield on the team, Harrison Barnes, it felt like this team was playoff bound under head coach Dave Yeager. They got close. I believe they finished at the 10th seed. And after that, Dave Yeager was fired, and new head coach, first time head coach Luke Walton, was brought in to coach the Sacramento Kings. And it seems like since then, things have gone downhill. Now, this is not to blame everything on Luke Walton. To be quite honest, the Sacramento Kings organization as a whole has really failed the fan base for the most part for a lot of years. They've made questionable moves. They've also made good moves, like I said, drafting De'Aaron Fox, drafting Tyrese Halliburton as a steal in last year's draft, um, taking in Rashawn Holmes and, him developing into being a damn good center, returning to the team this offseason when he was a free agent. A lot of people thought he would leave, but he actually re-signed to Sacramento, so I feel like that's a win for them. That is a win for them, to be quite honest. But for those good moves, they've made bad moves. In my opinion, drafting Davion Mitchell in this year's draft was a bad move. He's a small guard. You already have De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton along with Buddy Hield. I just don't understand why you would draft Davion Mitchell unless the plans is to move someone, but I can't see them moving De'Aaron Fox or Tyrese Halliburton. Things have been kind of iffy with Buddy Hield, but if he was going to be moved, Buddy Hield would have been moved by now. Buddy Hield is not some superstar with a huge contract who's hard to move. If they wanted him gone, he would have been gone because there's interest from the league in a Buddy Hield. The Lakers were interested, but it didn't fall through. I don't know how they're gonna fit Davion Mitchell into all of this. Maybe they just wanted to draft who they felt like was one of the most talented players at the time as opposed to fit. But I think with a team like this, where you already have talent on this team, you should draft based on fit, just, to get you over that hump. I think the Sacramento Kings, if they put all the pieces together properly this year, can compete for a play-in spot. I'm not saying they'll actually get into the playoffs, but I can see them actually competing for a play-in spot this year. I would love to see it. I mean, I know the Sacramento Kings fans would love to see it. I would love to see De'Aaron Fox compete in, some actual competitive games. Seeing Tyrese Halliburton in that kind of atmosphere. But speaking of all these young players, I've talked about Tyrese Halliburton. I've talked about, Rashawn Holmes is fairly young. I've talked about De'Aaron Fox and briefly spoke about Davion Mitchell, another young player on this team who the Kings drafted recently, who now in hindsight, they've gotten backlash for, but at the time seemed like a good pick, depending on who you ask, is Marvin Bagley III. He hasn't, for one, been able to stay healthy. When he hasn't really lived up to what I guess most people expect him to be. You can account that to injury. You can account that to him just not being that guy. Depends on who you ask. But the situation is they have to decide what they're going to do with Marvin Bagley Jr. They either have to move on from him or they have to find a good fit for him. And personally, I thought they should experiment with him at the center position, but clearly that's not something they're going for, considering they not only brought back Rashawn Holmes, they brought in Tristan Thompson, veteran center, to be a backup for him. So there's really going to be no room for Marvin Bagley Jr. to play center, which means they're committed to him playing the power forward position, or maybe they just plan on moving him this season. I'm not sure. You never know what the Sacramento Kings are going to do. But like I said, this team actually has talent. I believe this team can compete. Last year, they gave my Mavericks hell. I believe they beat us 3 times. Ridiculous. They gave a couple of teams hell leading into in the second half of the season, leading into the playoffs and play-in tournament. I feel like if they put it, maybe Davion Mitchell fits better than we think he does. Maybe Buddy Hield gets traded this season. Maybe Marvin Bagley Jr. gets traded this season. They also still have Harrison Barnes, who I truly believe in and is a really good player. So, like I said, this team is talented. This team has the talent. It's all about coaching and the organization, not only putting the pieces together, but understanding how to coach the pieces together, how to drive the pieces together. And I'm not sure if Luke Walton is the guy for the job. He has not shown that he is. I think it was a really bad look that after Dave Yeager was having not necessarily success, but starting to, reach that ceiling a bit, finally breaking through, and Luke Walton comes in and they go back down. I think Dave Yeager had them playing a better style of ball that suited them better, especially with your best player being arguably the fastest player with the ball in the league in De'Aaron Fox. Going from a fast pace running gun style to a slowed down pace with Luke Walton doesn't benefit this team's strength at all. And I feel like either Luke Walton needs to realize that and get back to that play style, or they need to bring in another coach. I don't think they're going to bring in another coach. It's probably going to be a bad look. Sacramento is known for recycling coaches in and out, kind of like a coaching carousel. Maybe that's not the image they want, especially putting their faith in Luke Walton. How bad would it look if you fired a coach who, was helping the team improve for a guy that you thought would take them over the top? And then the team doesn't do better. They actually do worse. And then you have to fire that guy and go get someone else. That's a bad look in an organization that already has a bad look. And I think they don't want that. I understand it. It's smart. But at some point, you have to rip the Band-Aid off. I'm not calling for Luke Walton's job. I'm just saying they need to figure something out. Like I said, Sacramento Kings have made a lot of bad decisions, and they've come back to bite them in the ass. I know a lot of people with drafts say, "Oh, well, hindsight is 2020," but not with the Sacramento Kings at this point. They've made way too many bad draft picks, but as of recently, they've been making good ones. Like I said, De'Aaron Fox. I still have faith in Marvin Bagley personally. Maybe that's my bias from being a Duke fan. It actually is my bias from being a Duke fan, but I do still have faith in Marvin Bagley Jr., whether it be at the power forward or center position. He's not much on the defensive end at all. He doesn't really give you anything on the decent defensive end, but I feel like he could be beneficial at the center position depending on what your personnel looks like. But that's not going to be with the Sacramento Kings if we're just being completely honest. So they're going to have to find a home for him, and I don't know where that can be. I have literally no idea. I have no clue. But I think it's about time they moved on. Hopefully, Marvin Bagley can play well this year and have a not breakout season, but a season that gets more eyes on him, his improvement. Maybe that'll help the team, and maybe that'll push the team over the top. But I would love to see the Sacramento Kings in the play-in this year. I feel like they can fight for a spot. All you have to do is get to the 10th seed. If you can get to the 10th seed, you're in the play-in. So let me know in the comment section down below if you're a Kings fan. What's your expectations for the season? How have you felt about the organization recently? How do you feel about it going forward? Were you okay with the Davion Mitchell pick? Was it someone else you wanted? How do you feel about Marvin Bagley Jr.? Marvin Bagley III. Would you like to keep him? Move on from him? Move it to center? What's your opinion? Let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a like on the video. Don't forget to smash that. Hit the subscribe button and ding the notification bell so you know when your team video comes out next. Make sure to check out the 30 Days of Hoops playlist hovering above my head right now. So you can look up all the videos in the past that I've already done. We're almost done this series, man. The season is starting soon. Just want to thank everybody that's been supporting the videos, doing the 9 to 5, doing this YouTube shit, and 2 podcasts. It's hard to get these videos out every day, but I'm managing to do it. Seeing people support it and seeing people enjoy it and give opinions pushes me just as hard. So, like I said, keep the support coming. And I'm going to have a lot of things planned for the NBA season, man, I promise. But until tomorrow, holla at y'all. Peace.